Alright, hey guys, we're back with another video on how to make old school games in Java. Mario Kart SNES here. I'm going to start this video by actually playing the SNES game in this online, on this website, this little emulator website here, because we're going to work on the background today. And I want to look at how that works sort of in the game, right? It's not going to take very long. Start the game here. I think it's X to move. Alright, so when I turn left, if you see what's happening on the top there, the background scrolls, right? When I turn left, the mountain moves right and eventually off the screen. When I turn right, the mountain moves left and eventually off the screen to give it a scrolling effect right back here. And that's kind of interesting. So we're gonna try to come up with a solution for that today. And I think I came up with what might be the simplest solution possible. I personally am using, I have a background asset here that I'm using. It's very simple, no trees or anything, just like one set of mountains. If you want, you can make yours a little bit more pretty. Just make sure it's symmetrical, right? That if you split it down the middle, it's sort of symmetrical. Actually what this is I had an image that was about 256, which is the length of our screen. Then I added the same image to the left side of it and the same image to the right side of it, if you want to do it how I do it, and I think that'll work for you. And if you wanted to have like a foreground with trees, because if you noticed on the Super Mario game, the trees moved faster than the mountains, you would just have another image that you would place on top of this that would be all transparent except for the trees, and you just make that move faster. So you could do that the same technique I'm going to show in this video with that. So let's get right to it. What do we need here? Well, we need to make a texture for our background, and we're just going to call it background. I've also made a float down here, a public float. That's important. That's your background position, and I'll get to that in a moment. We'll see why that's important. Oh, one more thing. I also changed my horizon to 40, and in turn, this is 40 units tall. If you make your horizon 30, like we did in the last video, you're going to need to make your background 30 tall. If you want my assets, once again, you can just ask for them, and I'll give them to you. But anyways, so here we go. We're going to BG, just new texture, and texture is just a 2D image. It's gonna sort of hold the image for us and allow us to do things with the image simply, which is one of the great things about having a framework like Libgdx. And then the BG, or the background position, we're going to set that at -256 to start. Now, why are we setting it at -256? Going to show you in a moment. Cool. I think that's actually, we need to draw with the sprite batch. We need to draw the background, of course. We did not want all of that. Cool. So BG. And then we want to our BG pause for the X position. And we're actually going to put, for this, game screen dot game height -40, and that's because it needs to, the way the position, and you'll see it as soon as I do it. Okay, there you go, the background's up. But the way the position is calculated, if you put it at position 0, you would see the background down here at the bottom of the screen. If you put it at position game screen dot game height, it would actually be off the screen. It would be up here. The bottom of it would be coinciding with the top of the screen. But like this, you bring it down 40 pixels to your horizon, and then it makes it look like you have a sky and mountains in the background. All right, cool. So this is where it gets really crazy. Let me see if I left this zoom code in. Yeah, so I put in some extra zoom code here, And this is how easy it is to do camera zoom in and out in libgdx once you have this orthographic camera set up. This is another reason why we want this camera, so we can do some testing. Here, I'll show you what this does. If you access the zoom, I've just put it to Z. You can put it to any key you want, and then you add to it. Make it a small number, or else it's going to zoom out ridiculously fast. But anyways, so then we can check this. So when I zoom out, it's kind of weird, right? It's where we can still move in our game world, yet we're zoomed out. This could make for a cool kind of weird windowed game or something. But anyways, you can see the whole background. Now, you're probably wondering why we've made this like T with our background, right? Well, you're going to figure it out just in a second. Actually, let me open that back up again because I still want to demonstrate a point. So this is 256 pixels across. The whole image is 768, which is 3 times that. So there's 256 pixels over here, 256 pixels over here, which means this position is negative 256. This position is 0, 256, and sort of, 512 there. That's the overall position in the game world. Cool. So what are we going to do with this? Give me 1 second. All right. It's going to be actually, I was just making sure I had the thing up on the other screen that I needed. Like I said, I write out the code ahead of time so I can minimize mistakes. So we're not going to have the mountains move when we strafe because a racing game's not really going to have strafing, right? I want the mountains to move when I rotate, like you would rotate in a racing game. So we're going to put it here. And this is going to be really easy. We'll just copy this input code. That's not what I wanted, actually. You know what? Before we do this, sorry, I'm messing up already. All right, yeah, okay. So before we do that, we want to access the BG pause, and we want to move it right. Cool. So every time we press A, so we're moving left, or we're rotating left. So we want this to move. We want to move right. So we're going to add, let's just say 0.5. Make that a float for now. And then I was getting ahead of myself with the if statement. You'll see what that's for in a second. But we should do this first just to demonstrate the point. Now with D, I'm rotating right, so I want the background to move left. So it's just like in the Mario game, right? And we could make a constant for this, but I think that maybe we'll do that a little bit later or something. I just want to show you that it works real quick. Cool. So now, if we start the game, when I go rotate left, it moves right. It gives us this sense that there's like some mountains in the background. Heh, it's actually pretty funny. I made this one 0.05, so that's why it was rotating so slow. Cool, but you can see that the mountains move now, and it gives this, kind of like the Mario Kart game, it gives this idea that there's something in the background, and as you rotate, you're looking at other portions of it. If you were to just do a static background that did not move, it wouldn't look very realistic, right? Because when you turn, you should be seeing different parts of the mountains. Now, just like a little clever illusion there. So I bet you're thinking, what happens when we get to the edge of the screen, right? Because obviously, if we zoom out, zooming out, and we rotate, eventually the edge is going to come over here. Well, because our image is symmetrical, there's going to be a really easy fix, right? So we're going to access the BG pause, and we're going to say if it's greater than or equal to 0, then we need to reset it back to its original position of negative 256. If it's, so what does this do? Well, like I said, this position over here starts at negative 256. If it gets to 0, we do not want it to move further than that, breaking our illusion by showing black screen here. We want it to go back to its original position at negative 256. We're going to do similar down here. Whoops, I put that in the wrong place. That needs to go in A. Okay. We're going to do similar down here, except this needs to be less than or equal to 512. And then we're going to set it, negative 512. We're going to set it back to its original position. Cool, so now you can see if we turn, and we turn, and we turn, the illusion is never broken. You're going to get like an infinitely scrolling loop of these mountains, right? I kind of like this. It's a really simple solution to the issue. And like I said, if you put trees in here that scrolled a little bit faster, it would enhance the illusion even more. But yeah, now you can scroll forever and you'll just have an infinitely scrolling sort of background. You know, games are all about clever illusions, making something look like something, even if it's not really something, right? So that's what we've done here. We're making the player believe that this background, this mountain range, that as they spin around, they're viewing like a circular thing, but really it's just like a clever illusion that this background is being reset faster than I can see so that it infinitely scrolls rather than actually being infinite, right? Let's see. Or at least to my eye, I can't see it. But the good thing is in a racing game, the player wouldn't be paying too much attention to that anyways. I'm pretty sure it's not noticeable. I haven't noticed it, but anyways, cool. So the point is that's basically the background. I might add some trees to it really quickly in the next video, or just off screen. That might be like a little challenge if somebody wants to try and add video trees themselves, like just an extra background in front that moves faster than this one because it's closer, you know. And that'd be pretty cool. And eventually, we're actually going to add some trees into the world. Once we get to Sprite billboarding and stuff, we're going to have some trees lining the track and stuff like that. So there will be actually just trees in the world, right? Rather than in a background. So that'll be really cool. Anyways, I think that that's already some progress for this video. The project is getting a little bit messy. If there's a different way that you like to organize things in like input handling and stuff, and you want to do that, that's totally fine. Go ahead. I'm not trying to make like a really fully high quality fleshed out game right now, so I'm just sort of bunching everything together, and maybe later I'll go back and organize things a little bit better. But for now, I think this is good enough. And this is still pretty clean, right? Like this is pretty small code. I mean, in 2 classes, this class is less than 100 lines. This class is about 100 lines of code. Really haven't done that much, but I feel like we've gotten a big result out of it. Cool, so tell me if you like this or in the comments, or if you think this is not a sufficient solution to like having a scrolling background. I think this is going to look really good once you have things in the world and you have a cart and you're racing around the track. I think that this is like a really good recreation of these sort of Super Mario Kart stuff. Anyways, if you want to, let me know what you think. If not, that's fine too. See you in the next one.